just in from Boca Grande to Barrier Island, northwest of Fort Myers. The small community saw intense winds, more than 100 miles an hour, getting a direct hit from the eye wall.
And this video just sent to us from Vanderbilt Beach in Naples. You can see the storm surge just flooding out the streets right there. The people who shot it live in that condo complex. Actually know those folks. They're on the third floor there. The first floor, I have to tell you, totally flooded out.
Take a look at this eerie sight from Tampa Bay. The hurricane sucked water away from the shoreline. This is called a reverse storm surge. It's when storm winds push water out of the bay, but that water is expected to come rushing back with up to 6 feet of storm surge. And officials say walking on the seafloor, like what you see these folks here doing, is extremely dangerous.
And on any normal day, you would see Inglewood Beach, about 25 miles north of Fort Myers. This Earth Cam caught video of the Category 4 storm just coming ashore at full strength just before the high winds knocked it offline.
Now let's give you a better sense of where this is happening. The storm made landfall between Fort Myers and Tampa, and we know so many of you have ties to that area.
Our forewarned meteorologist Kim Adams is in the thick of it. She is in Venice, Florida right now and sent this back just a short time ago, right before she lost her signal.
I'm forewarned meteorologist Kim Adams, and we are right now in the eye of Hurricane Ian. We're in the northwest part of the outer wall. We are just 12 miles from Port Charlotte, where the eye just came ashore. We have winds at about 100 to 110 miles per hour, hail, heavy rain here. There's so many reports, as you've been seeing, of surge. We're far enough inland that we're not worried about surge, but certainly high winds and heavy rain continuing here. Things will get worse for the next at least hour or so. Then they should calm slightly as the eye just moves off to the east of us, and then it'll start to strengthen once again as we get on the backside, the southern side of the eye wall. Again, winds right now are about 100 to 110 miles per hour. We are right in the eye wall of Hurricane Ian. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Kim. Now we want to get a better sense of where this intense storm is headed next.
Let's get to Paul Gross. He's tracking an Ian force tonight. Paul.
Yeah, Kim is right here in Venice. So you can see that's in the eye wall, directly in the eye wall of this powerful Category 4 hurricane. You can see the structure, still a well-developed hurricane, but as it moves inland, it's going to lose that structure and quickly start to weaken. That's a process we know about, and it happens all the time. Now, this is wind. Radar can tell us about wind speeds. Now, the Tampa radar is way up here. We've dialed into the Tampa radar here. So these greens are blowing toward the radar. These purples are blowing away from the radar. So you can see the rotation here. And if you were watching at 4, I told you about this patch of white that was out over the Gulf. This is 150 mile per hour wind, about 4,000 feet up. So you take a little bit off of that, you can see that along the coastline here, they are still getting 120, 130, 140 mile per hour wind. All right, where is this thing going? Well, the track has not changed a whole lot, but it does look like it could still be a Category 1 hurricane by the time it gets to Orlando overnight. And then tomorrow approaching Daytona Beach as a strong tropical storm, and then continuing up into South Carolina. Lots more to talk about with this and our own forecast. We'll do that in just a little bit, guys.
All right now members of the Red Cross from right here in Metro Detroit are on their way to Florida. We've covered them many times as they help those people in terms of recovery efforts.
Yeah, so they're getting in place to be able to get in immediately after the storm moves through. Our Hank Winchester caught up with them before they headed south. And Hank, as we've seen from Kim and the video, that region is really going to need a lot of help.
They certainly are, and that's why crews here from Metro Detroit are already hitting the road. And take a look. They're going to be in pickup trucks like this. They've got regular conversion vans. They've got 2 or 3 of those lined up, even some smaller units and vehicles. The goal is to get into those neighborhoods that are going to be the hardest hit. And basically it comes down to this, making sure that those affected by this storm have food. As the storm slams into Florida, the reality is in the coming days and weeks, there will be thousands in desperate need of help. And that's why a team from the Red Cross here in Detroit heading right to the storm.
Each vehicle has 2 volunteers on it, but and they're going to be doing feeding out in the neighborhoods.
Okay.
But in addition, we've got shelter workers that are deployed, public relations people that are deployed, damage assessment people that are deployed, a lot of different activities that go down there to support what's going on down there.
In all, there'll be a number of trucks and a number of volunteers that call Metro Detroit home. Their goal to get food, water, necessary supplies to those affected by this monster storm. What's it like for you to be able to go down and do this?
Well, we are retired, we have the time, and we have met so many great people doing this. We made great connections with people.
This couple, retired, volunteers for years. This is what they do. And when they make their way into these neighborhoods, they realize the incredible impact they're making.
We'll drive around, I'll be on the mic, and I'll be shouting out American Red Cross, going to provide you a free meal. So
It's got to be incredibly rewarding to be able to do it, too.
it is. Last year we met so many wonderful people in Louisiana. We cried when we left.
They'll be doing some great work, but obviously in some very challenging conditions. So I asked, they're heading down from Detroit today. When can they make their way into that area? As you know, evacuation orders in place, even emergency crews being held at bay in some parts of the state. They'll likely get the green light to make their way into those neighborhoods tomorrow evening. And again, the goal is very simple, to give people affected by this monster storm the basic necessities, food, water, some help as they work to rebuild their lives. We're live here tonight in Detroit. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank, Local 4.
We know they are going to need it. Hank, we appreciate it. And we want to let you know our coverage of this storm continues both online at clickondetroit.com, but also on Local 4 Plus.
And that is where we are live streaming coverage from our sister station in Orlando. They're doing around-the-clock coverage as Ian now heads toward them.
And Lester Holt will bring you NBC Nightly News live tonight from inside the storm's zone. That's tonight at 6:30, immediately after this broadcast, right after Local 4 News at 6. Now, our other top story tonight, Detroit police looking for the person who shot 4 people on the city's east side.
The shooting happened earlier this month and was caught by security cameras near the intersection of East Warren and Dickerson. Sean Lay live on the story right now. And Sean, that video has a pretty good look at the car they were in.
And it is a blue Chrysler 300, Karen. You're right about that. Police tonight still looking for the car, still looking for the person who fired the shots. It's the short clip of video that is the car is in that is leaving people speechless on the east side tonight. The video is only 4 seconds long. It is so violent, we can only show you 3 seconds of it. Sunday, September 11th, 3 men and a woman are outside this meeting hall on East Warren and Dickerson on Detroit's east side. A blue Chrysler 300 pulls up. Someone inside immediately opens fire, blowing all 4 adults out of the sight of the video camera. It is absolutely jarring to watch. That video you're looking at, it happened right here. Follow along with me. Let me show you the shots here. Here's a shot that went right through the side of the grill. Here's some gunshot spray that hit the side of the building. Look back here. Gunshots hitting the side here. Way over here, you can see holes in the siding here, 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 and here. Come back to the grill real quick if you would. Look at this. One shot going right through the grill. Detroit police tell us everyone survived this blast of gunfire. So many in this east side neighborhood heard about the shooting.
Oh my God.
What do you think when you see that?
That's terrible. That's so terrible.
And now they're seeing it for the first time. I mean, that's how quickly it happens. What do you think when you look at that?
Sad, man.
It's just the point of it happening, you know? Like, come on. It's enough going on in the city. I think we need to just really stop and just come together.
Amen.
We really do.
Come together indeed. Again, police still looking for that blue Chrysler 300. We checked with them today, still looking for the gunman. It's the fact, Karen and Kim, that non-life-threatening injuries are the result of such a awful shooting. Back to you.
Really is. Okay, Sean, thank you. Murder charges are dropped for 3 teens accused of stabbing another teen to death in Frazier.
2 16-year-olds and a 15-year-old are accused of forcing their way into a home near Frazier High School and then stabbing a 14-year-old boy. He later died. Today in court, their murder charges were dropped and they are now charged with assault with intent to murder. Macomb County Prosecutor Pete Lucido says investigators learned the stabbing was an act of self-defense.
An important note for anyone driving to Detroit for the next several days. Part of I-94 is closing for 5 days starting tomorrow. Both directions of I-94 will close from I-75 to I-96. The freeway is expected to close tomorrow morning at 4 and is expected to reopen by 4 in the morning Tuesday. Crews will be stabilizing and reinforcing that new 2nd Avenue bridge. You may remember the freeway closed in July while crews moved the bridge into place.